Hi everyone, welcome to the Talking Television Podcast with Jay and Chris. This is episode 5, so our first little milestone, which is fun.
Yep.
And tonight we got something a little special, a little older than either of us, so we have a bottle of 1979 Canadian Club.
Yeah, really mellow.
We're probably about 3/4 way through the bottle, so we've definitely been enjoying it so far.
Got my parents to thank for that one.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, so this one is Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 2. Definitely longer than the last one. They're definitely moving the runtime up.
We're working our way up there. I think it was 69 minutes runtime.
And I think this is going to be the last episode before any sort of big battle stuff kicks off.
Yeah, that's where they left it off. They're on the doorstep, so night is here.
I think this episode was kind of about resolving a lot of differences between everybody that's going to be fighting together and realizing, we have one common enemy.
If you don't survive this fight, then all the other crap that we've dealt with, that doesn't matter.
Except Cersei. She's not there. She's kind of holding out. She's going to let all of them take all the losses.
And then she's going to come in with her troops and
wipe
them out. That's her plan, at least.
We'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. So, fun episode. I think there was a few good things. For those of you who didn't listen to our last one, I missed season 6 and 7, so I'm kind of coming into Season 8, not quite as a newbie, but not 100%, up to date on all the events.
Right.
But the first thing, we have kind of like a mini trial for Jaime. Okay.
He basically, I think it's kind of Dany deciding whether he's going to die or not. But unsurprisingly, his brother comes to his aid, says, I trust him. I know, our sister kind of screwed us over. She told me one thing. She told him something.
Call himself a fool.
Yeah. She lied to both of us. So he comes to his aid. Brienne comes to his aid. And, Sansa actually comes to his aid too. They all kind of vouch for him, say, at one point in time, if it wasn't for him, I might not be here. Yeah, he's done some pretty crappy things, but I think he's in the right place now. We should keep him around. So she lets him have his sword back, and he's going to fight on their side.
Yeah, later in the episode, he says, he's talking to Brienne, he goes, I'm not the same guy anymore. And I mean, really, he's not. He really kind of started off as your typical Lannister asshole. And
Bran, in the little trial area, he actually says the things we do for love, which is what Jaime said to him right before he pushed him out the window. So that was kind of a little subtle jab in a Bran.
But Bran said, he doesn't. He's not mad at him. He said he's not mad at anybody. His circumstances are what they are. So
yeah, I think he knows he's useful. It's another sword in the battle. I'm not gonna ouch it to him for what you did to me because you'd be dead. And then what good are you?
And he can see the future, so I think he knows more than anybody else. They need as many bodies.
Yeah,
and capable fighters.
Jaime pretty much apologized to him by the gods would, and he made a comment about afterwards, let's see what happens. And then Bran said, well, how do you know there's an afterwards? I mean, we could all die tomorrow at this fight, so we'll see where we go from here.
Definitely. Yeah, so that was, I think, a pretty defining event. Everybody kind of coming together saying, all right, well, Jaime, you've wronged a lot of people in this room, but we're going to let you stay and fight alongside us.
And his devotion kind of to Brienne shines through. You can tell that he's got feelings for her. He respects her. He actually walks out, sees her on the, doing preparations for the battlefield. And she says, I'm commanding the left flank. That's where I'll be during the fight. And he offers up his sword to her, saying, I'd love to be under your command. Mm-hmm. And then later on, we actually see a little bit more touching moment between the two where he knights her. That's all she's really wanted in life. Being a woman, she's, Lady Brienne, she was never knighted. And then he lets her know that, hey, any knight can, do another knighthood. And
she kind of played it off for, I didn't want to be a knight anyways. But, once he says, hey, I can knight you, you could see, all the emotion in her eyes.
That's all she wanted. That meant definitely the world to her. So, especially right before a big battle, I think that's going to put her in the right place. And it shows, like we said before, Jaime's just kind of trying to right all these wrongs that he's done over the years to pretty much everybody. So we'll see. I still think he's going to die quickly.
I think he's going to die too.
But at least he'll be happy with himself, I think.
I think he's kind of in a good redeeming state for himself.
Right.
So what else do we have this episode? What other kind of big stuff? We had...
there was a couple big things that happened a little towards the end. So before that, it's just a lot of preparation. Everybody's in their own little right, trying to keep things jovial. I think most everybody knows, hey, there's a really good chance we could all die. The Night King's basically on our doorstep. There's way more of them than there are us. Mm-hmm. But what can we do in the meantime to take our mind off there?
Maisie Williams decided to have lose her virginity on a bag of grain, I guess it was.
Yeah.
It's 2 episodes in a row that we have probably the least sexy, sex scenes on the show. Is it the writers just kind of trolling everybody for all the years of all the other nudity they had?
Well, she didn't know any better. She just did what she could. She was kind of quizzing Gendry, like, hey, how many women you been with?
I didn't keep count. She's like, yes, you did.
Yeah, you did. 3 of them? Okay, well.
Yeah, that was funny.
I want to be number 4 then. So yeah, we got to see that. That was their way of, I think, releasing some stress before the big fight. Tyrion, Jaime, Brienne, Joran, a couple others, they all are around the fire and shared stories, singing, and just kind of loosening up that way with some wine.
Yeah, we saw some little heroic moments too when they were, feeding the soup to people. We had this little girl that was probably 7 years old said, I want to stay out and fight. And they said, no, why don't you, go down in the cellar, but you can defend the people down there so that was kind of a cool little heroic moment that...
Yeah, just showing the spirit of the people, and it was nice. You protect the people down there. We still want you to go down there, but you can feel like you're still doing something, doing your part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was touching. One of the bigger moments that happened at the end was throughout the episode, you could kind of tell Jon was avoiding Dany.
Yep.
And she didn't know why, obviously. So at the very end, she tracks him down. He's in the crypt, just looking at his statue of his real mom. And she starts with a little tale of, I heard this story about my older brother, raped her. And he corrected her, said, no, that's not true. They were actually in love, and they got married in secret, and they had a child, and it was me. And she's kind of like, no, that can't be. I don't believe you. But I think she soon realizes, oh shit, yeah, I'm your aunt, but I still love you.
The very first season had a lot of incest going on, so that's nothing new.
Nothing new, that's right.
I think the bigger thing to pull away from that is the power struggle now is, I'm assuming kings would have more right to the throne than a queen would. So
well, that's the thing. He's the last living male heir.
Right.
So he's got the right over her, even though she's older.
Yep, exactly.
So that's kind of, you see it in her eyes. She says that to him, like, that makes you the rightful heir. What's going to happen? How bad does she want the throne? Enough to kill him?
Right. Who knows?
Or enough to forget about it?
There's still more planning afterwards too. Sansa was talking to her and said, well, what about the North after? Are you going to take the throne and take us? And, they kind of took their hands away, and it was a little awkward moment before they got interrupted. But you could tell that they don't want to be back under the rule of them.
They were starting to, make amends. Sansa's like, sorry, I should have greeted you a little bit more warm, but you coming into my home, I really didn't know how to treat you. And, yeah, she said, well, I want to be the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. And Sansa's like, well, we're Winterfell, we're the North. We still want to be our own.
Yeah, we want to be separate.
And she didn't kind of like that. So, definitely tension. If everybody makes it through, that's another struggle. Power struggle all the time.
I mean, I guess we're expecting the fight to go down over the next couple episodes, but what if all the fighting ends in the next episode? We just have 3 episodes of the aftermath or something. That would be kind of crazy.
I think the fight's going to take, I'd probably say the next 3 episodes, and then we'll have 1 episode.
1 for the aftermath.
Just to lay everything out, what happened. Because I think it was over 50 days of shooting at night for this battle. So that's a lot of footage.
Yeah,
I can see that taking a significant amount of time. So I guarantee a lot of people are going to die.
Definitely.
A lot of people. So, any thoughts? Who do you think is going to be the first one to get axed?
I saw some people wanted Sam to go after this episode after giving up the sword, and they said, "Oh, well, he's just going to die now."
Well, he's kind of banished to the crypts. You know, Jon doesn't want him out on the field, so he gave up his sword. I really don't think he's going to make it out there.
So who's going to go first? I don't know. Yeah, maybe Jaime.
Yeah, I think it's probably Jaime, or maybe they'll just go ahead and kill Jon or Dany right off the bat. You never know. Something crazy could always happen.
Yeah, that would be wild.
Tyrion is supposedly going to stay behind.
Yeah, he's supposed to hang out down in the crypt because he's
I don't
too
think
smart.
he's going to die right away. Some of the second tier down guys, you know, like Grey Worm or Joran, I mean, I think they could easily go pretty quickly as well. But I'm really curious to see how the dragons do. If Dany's going to be riding around on the dragon, or if Jon's going to be on the dragon.
How did the third dragon die and become like a night dragon?
Rescuing Jon up north of the wall.
Was it flying and like shot with something, or was it on the ground?
I think it was, if I remember, I think it was shot.
While flying?
Yeah, while flying, and then they took it over.
Okay, because, I mean, that could be a big thing.
But Jon was basically, you know, they were north of the wall and they were surrounded. That was like their last way out, was this dragon. So it basically died saving them. And now the White Walkers have it and they're wreaking havoc with it.
And, you know, everybody, they talked about this episode, you know, everybody that's outside the walls is now with the Night King. You know, they're all dead and on his side. But yeah, I mean, they have two dragons, but they've already killed one on the other side. And they have a dragon of their own. So I guess my strategy with the dragon would probably be just try and kill the largest quantity of people out there as possible. And then, you know, leave all the fighters to kill everyone else.
Yeah, I think the dragon battle is going to be pretty epic. It's got to be. I mean, that's the whole
They've been building it up for
they've been
8
building
years
it up.
now.
It's got to drag on, and it's going to be a big scene.
Wouldn't it be funny if they just turned tail and flew away and took a nap somewhere?
Later, guys.
Yeah.
We're out of here. It's too cold for us. Not enough food.
What was your favorite part of the episode? Any specific scenes or?
I like them sitting around the fire and just kind of unwinding. They all had their stories. It was just the camaraderie of soldiers, even though they all had way different pasts. You know, they belonged to different houses. They fought each other in the past. Now they're this huge enemy approaching them is just bringing them together. So I like them just kind of trying to let loose, live in the moment as if, you know, it could be their last night alive. That was my favorite part.
That was my favorite part too. The especially the story about, you know, drinking the giant's milk to, you know, get his super strength and everything. So
you know why they call me Giant's Bane?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
He's got a huge crush on Brienne, that's for sure. It's the big woman here.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as he got, which that was almost a jump scare when he came in off the screen and gave Jon a hug. You know, it just came out of nowhere.
Yep. Yeah, I like his character.
Yeah, I'm glad he's made it this long.
Unfortunately, I think he's going to die as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I think he'll go out in a blaze of glory. I think that's pretty in tune with his character.
Right. But I think this is the last setup episode. I think they're going to start next week. It's going to be just all hell break loose.
Yeah, so if you plan on watching next week, try to watch it live. I think that's going to be the key, because if not, there's going to be spoilers everywhere. I'm sure there's going to be
spoilers everywhere, so stay off of social media if you haven't watched it. But yeah, I think episode 3, 4, and 5 is just going to be massive battle.
Definitely. So, do you guys have any other ideas? You think we're off track with our guesses? I guess leave a comment below or send it to us on any social media. We're at Southport Media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yep.
And we're also out on YouTube. You can just leave us a comment right below the video.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you can. And we'll be back next week.
Yeah, we'll be back next weekend doing another Warrior episode and then a third episode of Game of Thrones here.
Exactly.
So, thanks for listening, and we appreciate it.
Yep. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.